G'day everyone, Goober here with another Torchlight Infinite Sandlord Season video. Yesterday I was doing some maps and I got a few of the star shards and stuff, and I ran the plane watchers, and whilst it's not great FE, it has a lot of potential. And in that, I mean killing the Traveller. So this season, there is no Deep Space Traveller. So there's no Star Shards, etc. for Deep Space. And the last one is Profound. So Profound requires 4 beginning of the end. So the beginning of the ends are currently going for about 12 flame elementium apparently. So 48 flame elementium per attempt of Traveller. So what can Traveller drop in Profound? Every single time that you kill Traveller, I believe it drops 1 Deep Space Beacon, and it either drops a Echo of the Gods or a Pedigree of the Gods. I think they can drop both, but 99.99% of the time you'll get an Echo of the Gods. So we'll have a look at the price of these two almost guaranteed drops before we look at other things. I don't know what these kids are doing. So a Deep Space Beacon is currently going for about 12 FE, which is the cost of 1 of those keys. And the Echo of the Gods is currently going for 24 flame elementium. So every time you do Traveller, it's going to cost you 48 flame elementium, and you're pretty much guaranteed to get about 36 flame elementium back. Now there is a... What? Ruby pooed on the toilet. That's great. So one of the things that you can do to influence this is when you go to do a area boss, Kong is one of the very few pack spirits that actually affect your Void Great Void bosses and Traveller. So Kong's ability to multiply the fluorescent memories dropped by 2 or 3 actually apply to bosses. So if we got a second Echo of the Gods by this trigger here, or 3 by that, then it would be profit. Otherwise, it would not be profit on average per kill. Now, that's not the only 2 things that can drop. These kids are going crazy. But they're not the only 2 things that can drop in there. So you can get level 21 of all of these skills. I had a Precise Cruelty drop yesterday, and it sold almost instantly for 500 flame elementium. So that was really good profit there. I might bring up a couple of these others. I use... I use Radical Order. I don't use either of these at the moment. I do use Steadfast. I use Fearless and Weapon Amp. So I'll bring up a couple of these and see what the prices are like for those. So starting off on the list, we have Precise Fearless. If that one drops, looks like a couple sold for 400 flame elementium. Next up on the list is Rejuve, probably worthless. Yeah, 20 FE, so not a good one there. Weapon Amp was another one. 300 flame elementium. Yep, Electric Conversion was one. 100 FE, not huge, but not horrible either. Frigid Domain is horrible, so you don't want to get that. Nimbleness is another horrible one. Spell Amp is probably... Okay, Spell Amp's pretty good, 380. Energy Fortress is 400 or so. Magical Source, Horrible. What else we got? We got precise projectiles. That's used by a lot of builds, so about 600 flame elementium. Elemental res, not that great. Swiftness is on there. Swiftness is pretty good. 200 flame elementium. Deep pain, 200 or 140. Erosion enhancement, that's pretty good. 600. Charge flame, horrible. Steadfast, 300. Acute imbue, 88. I think I should probably buy that on horrible. What else we got? We've got the other imbues. Imbues apparently are garbage, which is good for Rosa because you use one of each. Flame imbue, still horrible. And then we have the three last ones. So Radical Order, horrible. Cruelty was 500 last night. They're down to about 450. And finally, Domain Expansion. Get some Jujutsu Kaisen going, and that's 170. So if you get almost any of the level 21 skill stones, then you should make pretty tidy profit. But for right now, I'm going to buy a bunch of the keys. I swear there was 23 listings for 12 a second ago. So I guess it's 13 each now, which, you know, sucks, but is there any up for 12? There's some. So I'll go through. I guess I'm going to spend 2,000 flame elementium on this. I'll see how many that gets me roughly, and of course less talk, more buying, because now I'm not going to get any at 12 and I'm going to have to pay 13. Couldn't they just let me do this video and then buy all this shit out? God, how rude. So it looks like I'm going to have to pay 13 each for this. And it's a super boring fight too. Horribly boring fight. They're 11 each. Oh, I actually got some. Crazy. But anyway, I'll go through, spend all my FE, and see if this is a horrible idea or not. Alrighty, here we go. So I've got 160 of these. So 160 times 13 is 2,080 flame elementium, which is pretty pricey. So if we get super unlucky and only get one deep space beacon and one echo of the gods, which equals 36 per hit. So it's a little bit bad, but so it costs 2,080 for the beacons, I guess, basically the keys. If we run all 40 and we only get the 36 back, that's 1440 minus tax on selling that is 1260. So worst case scenario, we run 40 travelers and delete 820 flame elementium. So we need at least 2 good skills to break even. Not great. There is, however, another chase item that can drop from there. I don't know what Winter of Origin is worth. So Winter of Origin, not great. However, a truth is, if we get one truth, which is insanely unlikely, we make good profit. Let's search for an unidentified one. Because they are 3 to 4. So an unidentified one is about 2,700 flame elementium, which would pay for everything. However, it's 2,700 for a reason. Excuse me. Because it's super rare. But anyway, the boss itself, when you have enough damage, is an absolute joke. So the only hard part about this is waiting. So at least with my character, I can just dash into the center, and I think I can tank hits. Yeah, there we go. So you just instant phase all the phases, and then you just have to wait for the immunity phases, which is kind of annoying, but it is what it is. I do have to dodge the hammers when they come out because I can't I can't tank those waves, so you'll see that in a second. I'm pretty horrible at dodging them. There's probably a trick to it, I just don't know what it is. So we can see that you can just run through that there. The problem with doing it this way is sometimes you suck like I do, and sometimes those beams just one-shot you. So another way of doing it is just to run around in a circle to avoid the hammers like this. But anyway, that is the boss. Hopefully we get lucky and we get a skill, or hopefully Kong does that a few times. So we got 3 Echo of the Gods and the Deep Space Beacon. There is a bunch of other stuff that drops that's absolute garbage. Hopefully Kong gets us through this, and hopefully we get some skills. Anyway, I'll see you in 40 kills, or I might unpause every time Kong does his thing. Wow, pretty lucky. Kong triggered 2 in a row. Kong is doing work. And just for reference, it takes about 90 seconds. 88 seconds of that is immunity phases, which is annoying. So Kong is going off. Is it worth doing this without Kong? Probably not, to be honest. Kong triggered, but on the wrong thing. I don't think that card is actually worth anything. Okay. I'll take it. Kong is triggered at least on a card every single round so far. Pretty insane. What is going on? Hasn't missed a beat. Every single time. This RNG is actually dumb. There we go. Finally got one where it didn't trigger. And back to the stupidity. Oh, only one. So 10 fights in, we've got 10 beacons, but we've had 21 echoes. That's half of the echoes that I expected to get for this entire thing. So maybe I'll have a dry streak, but we'll see how we go. This can't be all Kong, surely. Aww, 2 in a row. What's going on? That's better. More of that, please. Ah, I got excited. It looked good, but really, it wasn't. Not gonna lie, this is a pretty boring fight. Couple of Aurora rocks. Oriole? Oriole. Makes sense. Man, stop doing that to me. I'm kind of curious if I can actually AFK and get a new drink and not die. I guess not. Maybe if I had a smaller glass. close. Boring one. Oh, so we're halfway through now. I'll check the current state of play. I really should. Oh, I can change it, can't I? So, go to settings. Do not pause. Here we go. Can check as we play. So 20 deep space beacons, and we're currently at 36 Echo of the Gods. So that's pretty nice. They were... Does this keep going? Yeah. So they're 25 each at the moment. I don't have a calc up. Oh, that's going to kill me, isn't it? Wow. 4. That's interesting. But it was, what, 36, wasn't it, before that 4? Yeah, so 36 times 25. So that's 900 flame elementium halfway through, which is interesting. So if that last one was 4, maybe there's just an inherent chance for 2 to drop. Because even if it did the times 2 and a times 3, that'd have to be 5. So maybe if a 5 drops, then that'll answer it, but chance of that happening, pretty low probably. Anyway, I'm getting a little bit bored, so I'm going to... I'm not going to show every single boss kill like I have been from now on. I will only show if a skill or something drops instead. So I can watch something on the other screen.
Referring to salt, I'm referring to a tablespoon of...
Pause. Pause the wrong one. Watching Andy on YouTube. So we got our first skill drop here. Unfortunately, it is Radical Order, which was one of the bad ones, I believe. So only 30 flame elementium back there. Could have been good, could have been a couple of hundred, but no such luck. Anyway, there we go. We just got our second skill, and interestingly enough, after I stopped recording every kill, I've only been getting singles for the echoes. So swiftness was, I think, one of the good ones. Yeah, 180 is pretty decent. Another big N. Almost makes up for all those singles. It's a lot of lost secrets. 5. That's 15 FE just there. Not going to count it, but it's interesting. Alrighty, this is the final kill. So we just need a truth to drop off this one. And a few echoes. What? I said after this video, and this is the last one, so after this, I can probably play that with you. Mummy did want me to mow the lawn though. Do you want to pick up all the dog poo so I can mow the lawn? No, why not? Mummy will never pick up dog poo in her life. Even though they weren't my dogs, she will never pick up dog poo. If she stepped in poo, that's the only way she would pick it up off the ground. I'm not going to make your mum step in poo because I don't have a death wish. Anyway, that is the final kill. I'll now go through and tally it up. These dropped as well, but yeah, I was pretty sure they were worthless. So anyway. Oh look, I just had 24 FE drop. Not really. Alrighty, so looking at the cards that we got, We ended up with 68 Echo of the Gods, so we got 28 extras, I believe, through Kong. And without Kong, so if we just change this to 40, we still lose 380 Flame Elementium with the Oriole Rocks and the 2 skills that we got. We didn't get a good skill, so maybe if you got a good skill of, say, 400 FE, you're still down. So that sucks. So a shame there, but we made a tiny bit of profit. 256 FE profit from an hour, so pretty bad. And especially since Kong made this profitable. So Kong added, you know, a fair bit to that. What's that? 256 versus 381. So 381 plus 256. So Kong added 600 Flame Elementium to this test, and it still sucked. If you got a good skill and you didn't have Kong, you're still gonna lose unless you get a couple of good skills, or if you get a truth. If you get a truth, then you make profit. But if you get one truth out of 200 runs, then it's probably not even profit at that point. So I was excited at the start of that test, getting those triples and the quads of the Echoes, but in the end, not great. So anyway, let's hand in one set, because I'm still up 230, and a set of Echoes. So it takes 8. So 8 by 26 is 208 Flame Elementium per one of these. So let's chuck in a single. This will be all of the profit that we made, potentially just going straight down the garbage chute. We got Resolve and Reap Purification. I don't know if that's any good. It is not. So 138 FE minimum loss right there. Put your shirt down, Leo. But I'll put that back up for 65. Massive L there, and I'll put everything else up for sale as well.
Why did you say massive L there?
Massive L, massive loss.
Sorry.
I thought you would know.
Massive L.
Massive L.
Massive L.
Massive L. Anywho, that's all I've got for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll probably do Desire Records next. Cheers.